All right, week 7. This looks like a lot underneath this video, and it is, but it's not as bad as it looks at first. Most of you don't have to do everything on this list. The other thing is I went ahead and gave you everything basically until the end of the semester, which is next week. So even though this is a big, long list, you've got a week and a half to do this. All right, so first off, let's start with the big one. Is exam 4 is on chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's the mitosis, meiosis, genetics, and then chapter 12 was the molecular biology of the gene. We're talking about DNA on that one. All right, so all of that is going to be on exam 4. You've got Monday and Tuesday to take that. So just make sure, set aside some time to do that when you're not going to be distracted, when you can sit down alone and take that test. We know how test exams go at this point. I know on exam 3, I know a lot of people had issues with that question where it was the academic honesty policy. It submitted your name. You were saying that you typed in the name and it wouldn't save for some reason, but it looked okay on my end. So if that happens again, don't worry. Everything was going to go through okay. It's just a hiccup in Blackboard or Respondus for some reason. But it didn't affect your test, so don't let that stress you out when you're taking it. All right. All right, so that is Monday and Tuesday. Now, the comprehensive makeup exam, this is only for students who missed an exam earlier in the semester. And if you did that, I probably let you know, like as soon as the test was over. I said, wanted to let you know that you missed exam 1. You need to take the makeup at the end of the semester. So we're finally there at the end of the semester, right? Huge majority of you don't have to take this, but if you did miss an exam earlier in the semester, if you got a 0 for a test grade because you didn't take an exam, then you're going to take the makeup exam, and whatever grade you score on the makeup is going to take the place of the 0 that you have for the test you missed. All right. I know when I sent you the message about missing the exam, I told you all this information. It's comprehensive, so that means it's actually worth 4 exams worth of material. Exams 1 through 4, all of that is going to be on there. So just make sure that you are studying and preparing for it. It's not necessarily harder. I've given this test. I'm just estimating because I've been here 10 years now. So 3 semesters, usually teach this twice a semester over 10 years. I've probably given this test 100 times. Grades are always very similar to the way they were on the other lecture exams. So don't feel like you're being punished because something happened and you couldn't take the test one day. It's more to prepare for, but it's not necessarily harder, and I don't think it's going to hurt your grade because you're taking the comprehensive one instead of the one that you missed. All right. So if you got to take that, it's going to be open Thursday and Friday. That'll give you a little bit of time between exam 4 to prepare and get ready for the comprehensive. If you're taking the makeup, here's what I would do. Take the test, exam 4, on Monday. That's going to give you Tuesday and Wednesday to prepare, and then you can take the makeup on Thursday or Friday. All right. Okay, so everybody, when you're done with your test this week, we've got 2 lecture videos to watch, chapter 20 and 21. So 20 is on viruses, archaea, and bacteria. Now, viruses are obviously in the last year a lot more, we're a lot more familiar with those than we usually have been. I recorded this lecture video a few years ago, so it does not have any information on COVID or anything like that. But we're going to talk about RNA, which COVID is an RNA virus. We'll talk about viral replication. So there'll be things that you're going to pick up on that you're familiar with because you've heard them on the news or things like that lately. Chapter 21 is on protists. So protist is a weird category. It's eukaryotes. So these are things that have a nucleus, but some of them are like algae that live in water. Some of them are different organisms that are more animal-like. Some of them are very fungus-like, but it's their own group. They're protist. All right. So watch both of those lectures. Your review quiz is going to be a little different this time. So chapter 20 review quiz, instead of being on material that we covered in the lecture, one of the things that was honestly just like paperwork checklist stuff that I have to do as an instructor, one of the things we're supposed to cover is how to identify bacteria. So in order to do that, I've made a review quiz where you're going to have pictures of different bacteria and you're going to have to identify what they are. And don't let that intimidate you because I've also made a bacteria identification guide. You can pull this up when you're taking the quiz, all right? So like if you look at the guide, it's going to explain how to identify them. And then using that information on the guide, you're going to take the quiz, all right? Chapter 21 review quiz is really similar. It's basically you're going to have pictures of protists and you have to identify what they are. But I made a review guide that has the pictures of the protists. It's going to tell you what they are. You just have to identify them. All right. So both of those are due Sunday. Now that is like officially that's this week's assignments. You need to take exam 4, everybody. You need to take the makeup if you've missed an exam earlier in the semester. And then for everybody, you're going to watch chapter 20 and 21 and take those review quizzes by Sunday. Everything, oh, sorry, one more. It is a lot. It's a lot of stuff this week, but we're almost done. Your last lab is due Sunday too. So lab 6 is on genetics. We're jumping back a little bit and looking at some of the stuff we looked at in chapter 11. So this genetics lab is going to be looking at how to do Punnett squares, how to figure out ratios. It's also going to look at how to do something called chi-square analysis. So this is a little more advanced than what we did in the lecture, but it's some math that you're going to have to do to show when you see like the traits that show up in an individual. Can you trust these traits? Do you think that this is just due to chance that's causing these traits? Or do you think there's another factor? There's like something going on that is making these results be different than what you would expect. It's kind of new. I know that you don't have to take a math class before you take Biology 103. So because of that, I'm going to work through some sample problems. When you go through the lab website, there's going to be videos embedded, and if you'll click on those videos, I'm going to be working out some sample problems that'll help you out through that, okay? So that lab's really not terrible, but it does take a little bit of time just because if you're not familiar with that math, it's going to take you a while to go through and practice maybe a little bit. So give yourself plenty of time to do this one. For materials, you really don't need much. You need a coin because you're going to have to flip a coin and calculate how many heads and how many tails. Other than that, it says camera, so you can use your phone, webcam, anything like that. Calculator, pen or pencil, and a sheet of paper. All right, okay. That is everything this week. Now, everything from here on out is stuff that's due by Wednesday, because Wednesday is officially the end of the semester, all right? So what that means, I want you to hear me when I say this, is that after Wednesday, you can't turn anything in because the semester is over, all right? Even though these are due Wednesday, I would do them as soon as you can. They're actually open right now, so you can go ahead and knock these out if you want to. All right. Discussion board 5 is on protists. Bacteria. You've got a video. I've got a TED talk on bacteria that you need to watch. And then just like our normal discussion boards, you're going to leave one comment yourself, and you are going to respond to another student's comment. All right. So 10 points for that. I've opened up a end of semester survey just to get a little bit of feedback on how this class worked for you. I know minis are kind of fast paced, so I'm going to get some feedback on how you thought the pacing was. Obviously it's fast, but just let me know how it worked for you. And then just some things like that. So that end of semester survey, it's in the quizzes tab, and that's going to be worth 5 bonus points. And then lastly, just a reminder that your final exam is next Tuesday and Wednesday, so March 2nd and 3rd. So just be preparing for that. Good news is that it's only on those 2 chapters, 20 and 21. That's it, all right? I also, this is in your My Tasks section already, but I mentioned there was a bonus lab. So if you finish up this lab and you've got some time before Wednesday, before March the 3rd, there's a bonus lab called Research in the Scientific Method, and that one is going to be worth up to 20 points. Guys, that's a lot. That's like several points on your final average if you will do that. So take advantage of that. Make sure you're doing all, you don't want to leave points out there and then like you miss a certain letter grade by half a point or a point when you could have done those assignments and earned those points, all right? So all that is due Wednesday the 3rd, March the 3rd, all right? Okay, it was a long announcement, but there's a lot to go over. Next week will be a lot shorter, I promise. If you need anything, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.